ARMY must know. Behind the scenes of BTS Arirang, Taehyung delivers an extraordinary, chilling performance. Hello ARMY, welcome back to the BTS fans channel. Once again, don't scroll away just yet. Because this story isn't over. And the deeper we go, the more it feels like what happened behind the scenes of Arirang is not something that can be explained in a simple way. Imagine that room again. The air feels slightly cold. The lights are soft, not too bright. And the faint sounds of the production crew echo quietly, as if deliberately softened so they don't disturb the atmosphere. No one is really speaking loudly. Everyone moves, carefully. As if they all understand that this moment is not just an ordinary moment. And in the middle of it all, Taehyung is still there. But this time, something feels different. If before he seemed calm, now there is a deeper layer beginning to show. Not sadness. Not happiness either. But something in between. Something difficult to explain, yet easy to feel. He walks slowly, touching the props around him. A traditional cloth, an instrument, even the wooden floor beneath his feet. As if he's trying to feel everything. Not as an idol, but as someone trying to understand the story behind Arirang. And maybe, at that point, everything begins to shift. Because Arirang is not just about notes. Not just about melody. It is about a journey. About loss, hope, and a longing that never truly disappears. And when Taehyung realizes that, his expression changes. Very subtly. But enough to make anyone watching fall silent. There's a moment when a staff member approaches, giving a small direction. Taehyung listens politely, nods gently. But after that, he returns to silence. As if he's processing everything he heard, not with logic, but with feeling. And then, something very simple happens. He takes a deep breath. Closes his eyes, just for a few seconds. And when he opens them again, there's something different there. Deeper. Stronger. As if he is no longer just standing in a filming location. But somewhere else. In another time. Inside the story of Arirang itself. This is what not everyone gets to see. This is what the main cameras don't always capture. A transformation, happening slowly, without sound. And when the camera finally starts recording, everyone can feel it. The atmosphere in the room shifts. Not because of something big, but because of something incredibly subtle. Taehyung's voice begins to fill the space. Soft, gentle, yet full of meaning. Every word he sings doesn't just come from his voice, but from somewhere deeper. And in between each pause, there is a silence that feels alive. As if even the quiet carries meaning. Some of the crew who were busy begin to stop. Not because they were told to, but because they don't want to miss that moment. Because they know this is something that cannot be recreated in the exact same way. And maybe that's why so many people say Taehyung's performance this time feels different. Not bigger. Not louder. Not something designed to impress at first glance. But something that slowly, quietly, finds its way into you. More real. More intimate. More human. And that is where its true power lies. Because in a world that often celebrates perfection, this moment doesn't feel perfect. It feels honest. There is one more moment that is rarely talked about. A moment that doesn't make it into headlines, but stays with those who notice. After one of the takes ends, there is no applause, no cheering, no immediate reaction. Only silence. A few seconds that feel much longer than they should. Time almost stretches. And in that silence, Taehyung doesn't move right away. He doesn't look around. He doesn't break character. He just stays there, Still. His head slightly lowered. His breath slow. As if he is still inside the song. As if the music hasn't fully let him go. Not fully back yet. And maybe he doesn't want to come back just yet. Because what he just felt wasn't just a performance. It was something deeper. Something that lingers in the chest. Something that stays in the quiet. And those few seconds, they say more than any stage ever could. One of the crew finally gives a small signal. A gentle reminder that the take is finished. That it's time to return. And slowly, reality begins to come back. Soft sounds reappear. Footsteps. Whispers. The faint shuffle of movement. People begin to do their jobs again. Cameras adjust. Staff exchange glances. But still, something lingers in that room. Something invisible. Something you cannot capture on camera. But you can feel it. In the air. In the stillness that hasn't fully disappeared. And that is the trace of what just happened. It's the kind of moment that doesn't need to be explained. Because you already feel it. Taehyung finally lifts his head. And then, a small smile appears. Very faint. Very quiet. But real. Just enough to show that he's back. Or at least, part of him is. Because maybe, another part of him is still there. Still standing in that moment. Still inside Arirang. And maybe that's not something to fix. Maybe that's exactly what makes it meaningful. Because that is where the beauty of an artist reveals itself. Not when everything is controlled. Not when everything is perfect. But when they allow themselves to be fully present. To be affected. To be changed. Even if just for a moment. When they don't just perform something, but become a part of it. And let it become a part of them. ARMY. Now you understand why this behind-the-scenes moment feels so special. Not because of its scale. Not because of grand visuals. Or expensive production. But because of its honesty. Because behind everything you see, there is a Taehyung. Who isn't trying to create an image. Who isn't trying to meet expectations. Who isn't trying to be anyone else. Except himself. And maybe that's exactly why millions of people around the world can feel the same thing. At the same time. Without explanation. Without translation. Without even realizing why. Just by listening. Just by watching. Just by feeling. So when you watch BTS's Arirang again later, maybe tonight, or someday when you need comfort, remember this one thing. That behind every second you see, there are quiet pauses, unspoken emotions, invisible weight carried in a single breath, and a Taehyung who gives more than just his voice, more than just his presence. He gives something deeper, something you cannot rehearse, something you cannot fake. He gives himself completely. And maybe that's why this performance doesn't just look beautiful. It feels it. It stays with you. It lingers. It echoes long after the music ends. And yes, it's a little chilling. Not in a way that scares you, but in a way that makes you pause and realize you just witnessed something real. And now, the story truly isn't over. Because moments like this, they don't disappear. They don't fade. Every time that song is played again, Every time someone presses play, that silence, that feeling, that piece of him left behind, will come alive again. And maybe that's what